Hey Mets fans, welcome back to the channel, and today we will be taking a look at the New York Mets offseason plans and how they have been approaching free agency to date, and really how they've been taking tabs on arguably every free agent known to man, it seems, including the higher tier free agents that we all know and covet. But now that the Mets are in a prime position to really take advantage of the market, unlike most other teams, if not all other teams in MLB free agency this offseason, they want to fill the glaring holes in their lineup. And one of the biggest holes in the lineup is the outfield, center field to be in particular. And they want to go for a guy that can really be there defensively and offensively, truly a well-rounded player. And while Brandon Nimmo, he's all smiles, we all love Nimmo, he hasn't been up to par when it comes to his defensive game in that center field. So what kind of player could the Mets really go after, and have they been showing interest in? Yes, that is in fact George Springer. So that's what I'll be breaking down in this video for you guys. All the latest with George Springer and the New York Mets, the Mets connection, how much interest have they been showing in Springer, who Springer is exactly, everything there is to know about his game, the type of contract he will probably be seeking and what the Mets can land him on, and what he would bring to the New York Mets, not just in the short term, but fairly long-term future. And as always, guys, if you enjoy this Mets content, please hit like and subscribe, share with your friends. We just started this channel up and we're already doing fantastic, and I have all of you to thank for it. So seriously, thank you all so much, guys. I love the New York Mets. I know you do too. That's why you're watching this, and I cannot wait to see what is in store for this channel going forward. So spread the word on this, hit like, hit subscribe. The first goal is to get a 1,000 subscribers, so hopefully we can get there sooner rather than later. That would truly be awesome to interact with all you fellow Mets fans in the community. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into this video. Arguably the biggest fish in all of 2020 MLB free agency, we have outfielder George Springer. At a towering 6'3", 221 pounds, the 31-year-old outfielder has found himself in some elite company the past 5 years as not just one of the best hitters in all the MLB, but a far above average outfielder. The former first-round pick back in 2011 by the Astros had tremendous seasons, especially from the span of 2016 to 2019, in which in every single season he had at least 20 home runs and 70 RBIs. Springer's accolades during that span truly speak for themselves, as in 2017 he was a World Series champion, even though we know the story there, and was also the MVP of the World Series in 2017. He is a 3-time All-Star in 2017, 2018, and 2019 in the AL, and was also a 2-time AL Silver Slugger in 2017 and in 2019. Taking part in the shortened season this past year in 2020, Springer in 51 games played with the Astros had a total of 14 home runs, 32 RBIs, a batting average of .265, an on-base percentage of .359, a slugging of .540, and an OPS of .899. And in the last normal season for the MLB to date, in 2019, Springer in 122 games played had a total of 39 home runs, 96 RBIs, a batting average of .292, an on-base percentage of .383, a slugging of .591, and an OPS of .974. These were all some of the best numbers of Springer's entire career to date. Taking a look at Springer's entire career numbers to date from the span of 2014 to present, in 795 games played, Springer has a total of 174 home runs, 458 RBIs, also has an average career of .270, an on-base percentage of .361, a slugging of .491, and an OPS of .852. Pretty good if you ask me. And while we have seen many players for the Astros really kind of downfall in their production after the Cheen scandal happened, if there is one guy that has stood out to really be about the same, if not better, that has been George Springer. Springer, as I mentioned, put up career high numbers just back in 2019 after the fact, and also has seen tremendous growth in his OPS as well. So the real question is, do the Mets actually have a shot at landing George Springer? Absolutely. They have a tremendous opportunity to land George Springer, because what we have seen in numerous reports from numerous writers and numerous articles, including SNY or Joel Sherman, whoever it's going to be, they have all stated that the Mets have been actively pursuing a guy like George Springer, having in constant touch with him and his agent, and really look like they are looking as one of, if not the main front runner to date, to land the coveted outfielder. And talk about a game-changing acquisition this would be for the New York Mets. We all know, as I mentioned as well, between Brandon Nimmo in center field, and again, I love Nimmo. I love Mr. Smiles there. He's the happiest guy in baseball. But the reality is that as fantastic as he is as gain on base, whether it's from walks mainly, he isn't fantastic when it comes to his outfielding ability, especially in center field. George Springer brings a huge dynamic into this lineup, not just with his bat as it is, but also a fantastic two-way player with a strong defensive game that is surely going to help Mets really get over the hump of not just being a strong team as it is with their great core group, but really helping to take them to that next level, and George Springer can definitely lead the way. And the beauty about this situation too is that the Mets do in fact have the money to make this happen. There's been plenty of rumors, and from multiple articles that I've seen, the idea of a realistic George Springer contract very well could be around 5 years, around 125 to 150 million, maybe more, maybe less, all depends on the term, and because we're in an unprecedented market for this MLB offseason. So I'm not sure exactly what the number is going to be, but the Mets have the money to handle it. And I know for a fact that they are heavily interested. I know you probably know that as well. And what a game changer Springer would truly be to this lineup that's already stacked as it is with so many great offensive weapons. It just needs some defensive help. So to bring in a guy like Springer, who if you look at his numbers over the past 4 years, he's really been reminiscent of a relief pitcher, if you will, when it comes to high and low ERA. You know, this year, even though it was a shortened season, he obviously didn't have the same numbers as years prior, but still wasn't bad. But the 2019 season was his career year. The year before that, he had a slight dip in his game. And then the year before that, he was up again. So he's kind of been up and down, up and down. So everything is primed for him to truly have a fantastic season in 2021 with the New York Mets. And even at the age of 31, nothing is slowing Springer down. There's nothing to hold you back from signing this guy to really whatever contract he is seeking, because again, the Mets can handle these casualties, if you will, when it comes to dollar signs. So if say the latter half of this contract doesn't work out, it's no biggie, because at the time of that contract being done, if say it is a 5-year deal, he'll be around 36 years old, and that's still not a problem for the Mets by any means. They can really be done with the Cano contract as it is, so it'll be interesting to see what they do in that, right? But they still have over $20 million freed up in space because of Cano and his PEDs and everything. But not to get on a tangent, my point is that the Mets can handle really anything that comes their way money-wise. That is no longer an issue. So now you bring George Springer into the mix, literally one of the best hitters in all of the MLB, has been phenomenal in playoffs. Cheating or not, he has still been fantastic in his own right on that front, and has been the leader of the Astros for all these years. You know, when you think of the leader for the Astros during this time, you know, taking the cheating scandal out of the way, just thinking about them before we found out that and it all unraveled, if you will, you had Jose Altuve. Look what he's doing now. I know he's older, but then you have Carlos Correa, same thing. And you have plenty of other guys in that lineup. But the leader has always been George Springer in my mind, and what a fantastic get he would be, not just for the offensive aspect, but the defensive aspect. One of the biggest holes in the Mets lineup for years now has been their defensive game, either between a lack of competence in the infield or a lack of competence in the outfield, because we have guys that are really first basemen, for example, like Dom Smith, just trying to get him in roles, or JD Davis. Not that these players are bad by any means, but this isn't their natural position to be in the outfield. And yes, I know that George Springer is usually a right fielder, but he would be perfect in the center field, and it wouldn't hurt him by any means. He can really play anywhere in that outfield, and center field would truly be perfect. Then you can figure out what you want to do with Nimmo. If you want to have him as a platoon, if you want to have him stay in left field to be more comfortable, whatever you want to do, because Conforto is going to stand right. The future is unbelievably bright for the Mets in this MLB offseason, and I fully expect them to go all in on George Springer, and I truly believe it's going to happen. Springer is really the exact piece that the Mets would be looking for to help round out that overall aspect, not just with the offense and the defense, but in the locker room too. Springer does have a great personality. He would be great in the locker room as it is. The Mets have so many fantastic personalities when you look at it in the forefront. So bring Springer in the mix. He has some familiarity with guys, including JD Davis, because Davis was with the Astros before the Mets traded for him. We all know that. But overall, the Mets, again, are just in a prime position to take full advantage of this offseason. Expect plenty more videos shortly after this one regarding other players that they are targeting, whether it's pitching or other aspects maybe in the infield that I'll be covering here on the channel, because trust me, this is just the beginning here and in regards to the Mets and what their future holds. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of Mets content, if you're a diehard New York Mets fan like me, then hit that like, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and share this with all your fellow Mets fans. Trust me, this is just beginning here on the channel. I cannot stress it enough. You're going to see so many different kinds of topics discussed here regarding the Mets. I'm going to be as consistent as I possibly can, and I will be plenty more consistent going forward. It just, my semester is ending currently with college, and then I'm basically scot-free for the next year, and I'll be devoting that fully to here on the channel and my hockey channel as well, which I will have in the description down below. So check that out if you are in fact a hockey fan as well. But thank you so much, guys. It means an absolute ton. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you ecstatic to see George Springer land with the Mets? Because it really feels like it's going to be a strong possibility. If there's any other team that really looks like a strong chance, you could throw the Toronto Blue Jays in that discussion along with plenty of other teams. But the Mets really are in a prime position to take advantage And for a team in a win now stage, how would you not want to go to a guy like Steve Cohen? Trevor May made that abundantly clear. That was the biggest factor outside of reaching out to him as it is because of Steve Cohen and what he's going to bring to the table. And I really think that is going to be the biggest game changer for the Mets, not just this year, but in the years going forward. So thank you so much, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below as always, and check out previous videos in the end screen in a second. And I'll catch you again real soon.